This is Gateways to Greatness with your host, Rebecca Field, and her guest today, Donna Scheifler, who is an expert on the stages of a woman's life. And it's been a very, very interesting experience, Donna, to have you with us. And I think, from my perspective, very worthwhile. I know when I took your class recently, I had come across information that I was not familiar with, and I was just thrilled with it. It helped me a lot. So anyway, welcome back again, Donna Scheifler.
Oh, Rebecca, it's wonderful to be back. Just for the listeners that possibly are tuning in for the first time, this is the third segment, I guess.
I think so, yes.
So I've made reference to the life cycle of a caterpillar and into a butterfly, and how the caterpillar goes into that chrysalis and necessarily falls completely apart and is reconfigured within that chrysalis. And science now understands a lot more about what goes on in that process. And as we all know, the end result is a transformed being of a butterfly that emerges from the chrysalis. And in our lives as women, we find when we get to a place in our lives later on, and we can look back over the path we have walked, we see a lot of similarities as far as the stages that we've gone through. And one way of looking at the stages in the life of a woman is to think of the early springtime as the maiden, the summer and high noon as the mother stage, the autumn and mid-afternoon stage in the life of a woman as matriarch, and the evening and winter time as the crone, the wise older woman that we are all evolving into. And so I think I left off in my story where I was...
you went to Texas.
Yes, thank you. I looking back on it now, I would say that was the beginning of the end of my mother's stage. That I was starting to evolve out of that mother role, where I was giving and giving and giving some more. And the interesting thing was I never felt that I was enough. I never felt that I was good enough. Never felt that I was not okay with myself, no matter how much I gave.
I understand, yeah.
And when I look back on it, my life was very meaningful. I've done incredible things. I've impacted the lives of countless people. But at the time, interestingly enough, I had no sense of my worth and my value. And I was completely tied up in my identity as my role. I thought that at the time I was the Sister of Mercy. I was, at that point where I left off in my story last time, I'm down in South Texas now, and I'm drawing on my teaching background, and I'm training local women who knew a little English to teach English to their neighbors. And it was an awesome program. It was decentralized. It was not in a big school. What a contrast to when I started teaching. And I mentioned, I think in one of the other segments, that when I went to school in the 1950s, there were 50 kids in a classroom.
Yes, you did.
When I started teaching in 1968, the class size had come down to 45.
Really?
So when I was teaching in the classroom, no wonder I was overwhelmed. I had 45 students in a classroom. And so here I am now. I've now come 20 years later. I'm in South Texas, and I'm working in this program called Project Arise, and I'm working in the colonias along the border in South Texas. I was in the United States, but I might as well have been in Mexico. The conditions were beyond the beyond, and in terms of poverty. And I went down there from having worked with the homeless, and I went down. I remember the book growing up that I read called Black Beauty about the horse, and the need for the horses to have these blinders to cut off their peripheral vision. And I would go down the roads in the colonia with this incredible poverty on all sides of me. And I have to say to myself, I'm here to teach English, period. I cannot address all the issues that need to be addressed in the colonia. So it was a very, very, very
did that bother
experience. And anyway, to make a long, I was there for 2 years. Jerry Naughton, who was the founder, had the foresight for us not to come in as professional first world people and to help these underprivileged people. She recognized that everyone had dignity and potential, and she was masterful at recognizing the potential in the different people that she encountered in the colonia. And so I ended up working with Agapita, which is like little agape is the word for love. So Agapita is little love, was the woman that I trained in to do what I was doing as the tutor coordinator of the program. And in 2 years, I had trained Agapita in to do the job. And it was clear to me it was time for me to leave Agapita free to do her job her own way with her own style, but also it was clear that I had really burned out. After 2 years, I grew up in San Francisco in the fog, and here I was 2 years in heat and humidity in South Texas. I cannot believe I did it, but I did. It really happened.
It was really a contrast.
So it was astounding. And those 2 years for me were like the early stages of going into the chrysalis, of beginning to fall apart. I see now. I did not understand at the time what was happening. All I knew was something was not okay. That was as far as I knew at the time. So in 1990, I returned to the Bay Area and thought I was going to get resettled and find another ministry, another job, and keep on keeping on. And I couldn't. I absolutely hit a wall. I had no energy, zilch, no energy at all. And looking back on it now, I recognize that I had really gotten burnt out. I did not know what that was at the time. I had had a couple of experiences prior to this that were similar, but not to the degree of what was going on at this point. And so what happened was the year following my return to the Bay Area from Texas turned out to be a sabbatical year. I didn't go into the year with that intention, but that's what it turned out to be, which often happens with life. We live into something, and in hindsight, we understand how it fits in the whole picture.
Yeah,
but,
isn't that true? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm now coming into a stage of my story that was very confusing, very painful, very disorienting, and I just felt like I was a mess. Here I had been functioning and capable and out there and doing and contributing, and now I was incapable of doing any of that. I didn't know what was wrong with me. It was very scary. It was very scary. And I had no clue who Donna was. I did not know who I was because I was identified with everything that I had done over all the years. And now that I couldn't do that, I didn't know who I was. So as things turned out, thank goodness, I ended up...
Excuse me, we have about 3 minutes to go.
Oh, my.
No, that's okay.
Okay. Well, I gave a lot of attention to this stage because this is so important. And what I'll conclude with for the moment now is to say, from this very painful time in my life that I'm just on the edge of coming into, describing, I now in my life in 2017 am drawing on that experience back when I was falling apart and using the terminology of the butterfly and the caterpillar, I was falling apart in the chrysalis. I now draw on that experience as I accompany other women going through that very experience. I'm no longer afraid of it. I honor it, and I respect the place it has in our unfolding to become who we really are.
It's very touching, and you have learned a way, Donna, that I experienced in your class of helping people find out who they are, which is, who am I has got to be probably the first great question we must answer all during a lifetime, and it's not easy. It's one of the hardest things in the world to do that. That's the way I've experienced it. So
exactly.
You had an exercise that was I found particularly helpful, and it was tracing the course of a river.
Yes.
And a mountain range has been very prominent in my life, and it would be the same thing if you had a mountain range, or a shoreline, or a tree, or any of these great natural things that have so much to teach us if we're awake. So, Donna, anything else that you want to say before you leave today?
I just hope anyone listening to this unique rendition of the heroine's journey. This is my story, but hopefully it's resonating with you, and you're getting in touch with your own unique experience and expression of this journey. The journey is not over. This is a very painful stretch of the journey, but it's utterly necessary. And what's yet to come is awesome. I'm saying it's so worth it to go through this process and not abort it. What comes out of this is as magnificent as a butterfly is compared to a caterpillar.
Yeah. Well, I think you've made that very clear, and certainly it's something to look forward to.
Yes.
And
yes.
I hope our listening audience will take this in and experience it in each in her own way, and gather something of magnificence, which it is.
Yes.
And let's hope too that the feminine energy will soon be recognized.
Yes.
Yeah. We need that. Donna, thousand thanks. And
yes.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And we'll say goodbye for now. And
to be continued, huh?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank
right.
you.
We can certainly do that. So anyway, Donna, thousand thanks, and I look forward to talking to you again. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.